Robyn became the voice of reason this episode, and this was my face through the entire thing. Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I'm covering Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 5, Episode 9, The Tipping Point. Oh my gosh, you guys, this was the episode. This was like the best Bravo show I've seen all year. Holy cow, how crazy. I have got to talk about this with you guys. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be looking into some stuff. You know, I love my deep dive, so let's get into it. Holy cow. So we left off in the barn for Giselle's book party, a celebration of the literary award Gizelle received. And it's Candiace versus Monique, obviously. Candiace is left off saying, drag me, drag me. And Monique is saying, do you want me to? Over and over, drag me. Do you want me to? Then we got Candiace with her hand in Monique's face. Then we got Monique flipping Candiace's hair. So the ladies are trying to intervene and stop this, and then we see the producers run in. Holy cow, this is probably the most fourth wall breaking we've seen on any show. They've been doing it a lot lately, but this whole episode we saw the producers. Wow. About this fight, you know, I love Monique. She has been my favorite. I think she's usually very relatable, and I just love her. I love her and Chris. Not so much right now. It's so hard for me to speak out against her because I love her, but nope, this was wrong. She messed up. I can think of as that America's Next Top Model where Tyra Banks is yelling, we were all rooting for you. We were rooting for you. I was so excited that she was taking down Candiace because I cannot with Candiace. But this is not the way to do it. Candiace is so obnoxious, and she was definitely gaslighting, I guess is the word here, Monique, and she loves to be controversial and say these horrible things to people. We've seen it in the past, but it crosses the line. We put hands on somebody. It's just wrong. That was wrong. I get such a thrill from Housewives, but this was hard to watch. I want her to take Candiace down verbally, not physically, and this was rough. And we'll talk about it a little bit when we get into Monique's explanation, but it's hard to see here, but I don't see a glass. I mean, I know glass was shattered. It's hard to say what happened, but from what I could tell, it looks like Monique was grabbing on Candiace's hair. Oh, Monique. So they're all yelling at her saying, let her go, and she just won't. She's pulling on the hair so hard, and made me feel bad for Candiace, and I never want to be in that position. So it's just a lot of loud noises, and everybody's screaming at Monique to stop. Finally, they get Monique off of Candiace. Candiace's wig's all messed up, her hair's all pulled. It's awful. They get Monique kind of cornered with a producer, and he's holding her in a stairwell, which she needed to be held because that was crazy. We see Ashley returning from the bathroom, and seriously, what a time to go. I mean, you missed it, girl. Look at this face. Seriously, that was my face throughout the episode. I just couldn't believe all this. I knew it was going to come to blows, but I just didn't expect that they'd show all of this. So Monique's lip is bleeding, so this is where this glass story comes from. You guys know how I feel about Robyn usually. She doesn't add a ton to the show for me, but I liked her in this episode. I got her a little bit more. I felt she was kind of the voice of reason. She said it was like the devil possessed Monique. She said Candiace is annoying as hell. She has a voice on her, but to get physical with someone, I can't take Monique's side at all. And that's exactly how I felt. I understand that Candiace is the worst, and I understand wanting to take her down verbally, but oh god, this physical stuff, that was tough to watch. So Monique is just dying for this fight. She's trying to get around this producer, and he's like, you gotta stay here, you gotta chill. And she just really wants to fight Candiace. She keeps going over and over about, Candiace started it, and just, I'm gonna beat her ass and all this stuff. And, she's been asking for it since last year, and Candiace, meanwhile, is just like in a daze. And this is where Monique really, she loses her mind. She decides to go down the stairs. They're trying to usher Candiace into this car and get the women apart and keep Candiace safe. And Monique takes off running for her. What was she going to do when she got her? So the producers are like, she's gone, she's gone. And the other women are like, I'm not going out there. This isn't my fight. They get Candiace out. She's calling Chris, telling him what happened and that she just got in a fight with Monique. Monique is trying to explain it to Karen and Ashley. By the way, did you guys see when Karen ran off when the fight started? I thought that was kind of funny. So let's break our own fourth wall here for a minute and get into some juice. You know, I love to do a deep dive on this stuff, so that's what I did. I was curious what the heck happened since the fight. So here's what happened. So it sounds like Candiace went and got Monique Samuels charged with second-degree assault after the fight. So the incident itself took place on October 16th, and she went and filed charges on, it looks like, November 7th. So they were going to have a court case December 23rd. Well, then I find out that Monique got Candiace charged with second-degree assault as well. So in Monique's statement filing, she's saying, you know, they tried to mediate it and figure out a situation, but that she alleges that Candiace was aggressive, threatening, and belligerent. So she had to defend herself, and she did. So, yeah, so she's claiming self-defense, and she was able to get a charge against Candiace. So, I don't know, maybe the glass did it? I don't know. Okay, so now, after all that, it sounds like they both had their charges dropped. So both second-degree assault charges were dismissed, and I believe that was in December that they went ahead and dismissed that. According to the article, they both faced jail time over this, and it's crazy that it got to that point, and I'm glad that, I don't know, that they don't have records. I don't know what to say. That's just terrible. The whole situation was awful. So, moving on from that train wreck, let's get into the rest of the episode. So it's the morning after the fight, and speaking of train wreck, come on, Wendy, I really want to like you. I do. I just want you to give me something. Right now, you're just not. So we go to a scene of Wendy, and she's talking about how important and successful she is because that seems to be all she can talk about. Now, her babies are absolutely beautiful. This is a gorgeous child who looks exactly like her dad. But she's just talking to her about all the work she has to do, and I'm over it already. She just started, and all she can talk about is her work and her degrees. And while that's impressive, that's not what I'm looking for in my housewives. So we see Gizelle packing up for Atlanta, and don't you worry, we will get into this Atlanta nonsense as well. But she's packing them up. She ends up FaceTiming Robyn, and they're just talking about how crazy it was before, you know, with the fight. And again, that's where Robyn said, Candiace is annoying, but you can't get physical. That's just too much. So she can't take Monique's side on this. And Giselle's agreeing with her. We go over to Chris and Monique's. I still don't understand why Chris is with Monique. He seems like such a nice guy. He's making her a cup of tea, trying to make her feel better. She's saying her head hurts. I understand that. It looks like she had the crap pulled out of her hair. So she's, you know, I feel for her because, again, it shouldn't have gone physical, but she just has to go. She can't help but be Candiace, so she has to lay it on thick and be a drama queen, and here we are. So then we go over to Karen's, and oh my gosh, there's just no end in sight for Karen. I actually, again, she's another one I'm not normally a fan of, but I really feel for her. I do. She's going through a lot right now. And Ray is just totally in the wrong. He's being so unfair. She's trying to do this nice thing for him. It's his birthday, so I'm using air quotes here, cooking by hiring a chef and prepare a nice meal for him. And he kind of appreciates it, but we're going to get into them a little bit later. And I can't with him. He's awful to her, and I feel for her. So then we go over to Monique's and we see her beautiful babies. Look at that Chase. I just want to pinch his cheeks. He's so cute. Okay. So Chris gets up and oh, by the way, do you notice Starbucks in every scene at their house? It makes me laugh. I think they must have stocks in Starbucks. I just really like Chris. I mean, he's trying to help Monique, but he's saying you shouldn't be fighting. It's ridiculous. And, he likes Chris and Candiace. It's not a good image. Monique's saying, I don't care about image. And oh man, Monique, you messed up. So she's trying to talk it out with Chris and make sure everything's cool with him. He's saying, y'all are grown women. You can't even hang out without fighting. And, I'm with Chris on this one. So Giselle's dad lives in Atlanta. So since they're in Atlanta, they're going to be receiving and opening this restaurant that Jamal has given the girls. So she has a serious talk with her dad about Jamal and getting back together. She explains that her dad has never been a fan of Jamal because Jamal, I didn't know this, was messing around when they were engaged. She said when they were engaged, there was tomfoolery. And, the dad is trying to be nice and supportive, and he says, I support you. I want you to be happy. So you think everything's fine between them, but we'll see. We'll get into that too, what's really going on. My God, this episode was full of, bombshells, wasn't it? I loved it. So then, it's not even the biggest drama on the show anymore, but Michael's cheating ass. We go over to him, and they're talking about Michael, and they showed a clip where Ashley said she's 60% in. And speaking of stock and companies, have you ever seen anybody drink so many Coronas in your life? I haven't. I don't even think I've drank a whole one in my life. I've had a sip, but it's just shocking how much they love Coronas. Anyway, so they go back and forth. I don't buy it. She's saying that, she wants a post-nup to protect her and Dean should this happen again. He's like, yeah, we can talk about it, which means we won't talk about it. And now she's pregnant again, the idiot. Get away from this monster. So we go over to Arizona's. It's a restaurant that has already existed that Jamal bought for the girls, which doesn't make any sense. I forget where I heard it. Maybe Danny Pellegrino's podcast or Bitch Sesh, somewhere. It said that they thought it was a tax move to put in the girl's name. Maybe it is. So Jamal is there with the manager of the restaurant, and they're going to show the girls around and show them how the restaurant works, just so they have the idea. So once again, I did a deep dive into this. And when I Googled it, it does show, because they mentioned Stonecrest, it shows that there's one there. And when you click on this link, it takes you to Arizona's. But then I found an article in May that says they plan to close permanently after 15 years in business. So, and that's after a new ownership. So if I understand it correctly, it is closed now. It's just hard to tell because there is a listing for that one still. So I'm not real clear if it's open or not. Ugh, and the drama just continues. I feel so bad for Karen here. So they go over to her house. She's really trying with Ray. She's trying to get the love connection back. She says she feels like she's the only one who's putting in the effort. She has this idea, instead of therapy, she's going to have a life coach come over who ends up being her friend, Angela, who's a radio DJ who hosts something called Pillow Talk. And she just kind of counsels them and asks them questions to try to get the relationship back on track. So it starts off, what annoys you? She talks about his snoring, and he says that she doesn't have time for him anymore. But then, you guys, they go so deep, and it really so sad. So Karen's trying to tell him what she needs. She says, I feel like you don't date me. You stop planting that love bug. I'm a passionate woman who needs to feel like you're in love with me. And Angela asks, are you in love with Karen? And Ray's response was, I think I am. I think I am after 23 years of marriage. So he says, I love you. I think I'm in love with you. It certainly doesn't feel the same way. And Karen says it's a huge discovery. You guys, this is all because Karen is trying to work and make this business. And he's so jealous. He doesn't even know if he loves her. Oh, how do you stay with somebody after that? I don't know. I give credit to Karen because I couldn't. It's too much. Meanwhile, the drama continues over at Giselle's. So her dad comes to the opening day. Of course, Jamal is there. The girls are there. They're reopening the restaurant under the new management. And everything appears at surface level to be hunky-dory. The girls are washing dishes and learning the ropes of the restaurant while Gizelle, Jamal, and her dad kind of talk. So Giselle's excited for rekindling this love, and she's telling Jamal that her and her dad had a talk, and he just wants them to be happy, and Jamal mumbles some things, and we think everything's absolutely fine with Dad. I mean, he's not overly thrilled about it, but he's fine. Well, he excuses himself to go to the bathroom, and I just freaking love this show. It's so good. So we see that he's subtitled because he thinks he's off camera. He still might. And he's saying that I'm done with this guy. He has 6 or 7 baby mamas. Do you want to deal with that again? No. Holy cow. So earlier in the episode, they asked Gizelle about his other kids, and she basically said, if I didn't give birth to him, I don't think it's right to speak on him. So we didn't know how many kids he had and baby mamas, but my God, if that dad's telling the truth, that's wild. And I understand why the dad's so upset, and I hate that Gizelle is so blindly falling for Jamal, especially when the kids aren't into it either. And that is how the best episode of the season ends. So then we get a flash to next time. We've got Monique saying she doesn't want this to linger. She wants to have a meeting at Karen's. Giselle's saying, if Monique's like that, I can't believe that she did that. I don't want to be around her. They call Candiace, and Candiace is saying she's dangerous. We see the therapist asking Candiace, did you do anything to provoke this or contribute? Monique is saying, when the glass of wine went in my face, I remember reaching, it all went downhill from there. And Robyn says, that's an absolute lie. Wendy says, you're saying I'm going to kill that bitch. You were aware. You were not remorseful. Gizelle said, you showed me what you're capable of. I by no means want to be near you. Monique says, maybe I don't need to be a part of this anymore. That's how the preview ends. I can't wait. It's so good. I want to know what happens right now. You talk about a hell of an episode from start to finish. Normally I go around 10 minutes or so. I'm 20 minutes in and I could talk for another hour. It's so good. I can't believe what all went down this episode, and I can't believe I'm siding with Candiace. Okay, I guess I'm not siding with Candiace. I just can't believe I'm siding against Monique. Oh my gosh, so good. So, juicy stuff. What did you guys think? I need to hear all your thoughts. I want to hear your comments. Leave them below. I read them all. I love them. Who do you think was right and wrong, and what are your thoughts on the situation? And how about Giselle's dad? Holy cow. And how about Ray? Oh my gosh, so much to talk about. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned. I'm covering so many other things. I'm covering Selling Sunset on Netflix. I'm covering Ladies of London. I love that show. It's like the best all-time Bravo show. That's starting up. And Below Deck is tomorrow. So just stay tuned for it all. And you can find me here. You can find me on Twitter at Real Recaps. And I thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.